What's up, everybody? Joe White here. Well, it finally happened today. Um, I was rolling through Pittsburgh, or getting ready to go through Pittsburgh, and the stupid Freedom Convoy passed me. I was going westbound on I-70, and they were going eastbound. I'm guessing they're going to take 70 all the way into Maryland and then drop down. The crazy part about I-70 is that if you want to take I-70 any further east outside of Pittsburgh, you got to pay tolls. This is what I don't get about that Freedom Convoy bullshit. Okay, there's no more mask mandate, so what are you protesting? No, Nevada was the last state to have a mask mandate. It's gone. I was there a week ago. Didn't have to fucking wear a mask anywhere anymore. It felt great. So what are you protesting? High gas prices. I was talking to my father today, who's also a fellow truck driver, and he brought up an interesting point. First off, you're protesting high gas prices and high fuel prices. You know, gas and fuel, gas hit in Pennsylvania. I woke up this morning and gas prices had hit, I want to say, right at around $5 a gallon, or $4 a gallon for regular unleaded, and then $5 for diesel. Now, these truck drivers who are quote-unquote protesting their quote-unquote freedom are owner-operators. I'm a company driver. I drive for a major company. There's no way they're going to piss off and shut down and let us participate in the Freedom Convoy. Not going to happen. If I were to take this truck right now and drive it to Washington, D.C., they would first off fire me. Second of all, they would put a load abandonment and truck abandonment on my DAC report, which prevents me from ever getting another job ever again. And then third of all, they would have me arrested for Grand Theft Auto, because technically I have stolen their truck. So big carriers like the one I work for, Crete, Schaefer, Hunt Transportation, Werner, Swift, you name it. They're not going to participate in this bullshit. We're going to do our job. We're going to keep America moving. We're going to keep that supply chain going. And we're going to keep making sure that you have getting stuff to distribution centers and stores. Now, whether those distribution centers want to hire people or can find enough people who want to work to load and unload those trucks, that's their problem. More on that in a minute. So they're owner-operators, and all these owner-operators are going to go to Washington, D.C. with our redneck ways, and we're going to shut it down. We're going to shut down I-95. We're going to shut down the Beltway, and we're going to show them we got freedom because this is America. And as long as we got our guns and no masks, we're fine and happy. And fuck Joe Biden. More on Joe Biden in a minute. And until the orange man is back in office, we're going to raise hell and shut it down. So they're going to go shut it down. So, as I said, they're owner-operators, which means they're responsible for all their fuel costs. If they're, if they're not hauling loads and hauling freight, they're not making any money. Which is why people are starting GoFundMe pages. But yet, to help these drivers, because they're not making any money, yet these same people go on Twitter and Facebook and bitch about how they can't find product in their stores. Well, when you take all the owner-operators and they shut it down, you ain't going to be able to find that shit. So, fuel prices. $5 a gallon for diesel, over $4 a gallon for gasoline. Today, when I passed the Freedom Convoy, or when the Freedom Convoy passed me, there were also people standing on the overpasses. Men and women and even children with their American flags and their fuck Joe Biden flags and the let's go Brandon signs and, waving American flags at me like I support their cause just because I drive a big rig. Well, guess what? I don't. And it's not because I don't believe in freedom. It's, what are you protesting? So they're protesting the gas prices. And they're protesting the mask mandates, which there are no mask mandates. They're gone. The President of the United States was not even wearing a mask, and nobody was wearing a mask hardly in the chamber when he was given the State of the Union. Well, we're protesting, we don't want it to come back. Well, if they have another fucking variant and it gets bad again, they're coming back. And you shutting it down ain't going to change it. So, you're meaning to tell me that they're protesting gas prices by filling up their rigs at their own expense, and these cars, there was just as many more cars and trucks in this convoy and RVs, which take diesel fuel. So you're going to go and fuel up at your own expense with these high gas prices and drive across the country. Some of these people coming from California, 3,000 miles. Just to go to Washington, we're going to go to Washington, D.C., we're going to shut it down with these high gas prices. But yet we're filling up our trucks with fuel and wasting fuel at these high prices. Do you not see what I mean now, folks? Do you not see what I mean here? It's pointless. It's counterintuitive. You're not going to solve anything by doing this. Get back to work. Stop fucking around and maybe go take a load of produce across the country. Or something useful across the country instead of going and shutting it down. To the men, women, and children who are standing on the overpasses, and to the men, women, and children who are getting in their cars and in their RVs to help this trucking convoy go shut it down, how about you go back to work and save this country from the fucking labor shortage that it's in? Put your kids back in school. Hell, even Joe Biden's agreeing with the Republicans on this one. Our children should be back in school. Put your kids back in school. They're not out for spring break yet. Does the school systems there in Pennsylvania know that your kids are out of school? Not because they're sick, but because they're wanting to stand on an overpass, which is dangerous as hell, by the way, waving a fuck Joe Biden flag and carrying a GoPro camera. Does the school systems know that your kid is playing hooky to go do this bullshit with you when your ass ought to be at work yourself? These truck drivers ought to be at work. But let's say you want to protest. Okay. I'm a truck driver. I want to go protest these high gas prices and our freedom. I'm not going to protest by driving to Washington, D.C. and risk losing my license over getting into a fight with someone over something stupid, or getting my rig towed, or picking a fight with the National Guard, which are there waiting for me. I'm not going to protest that way. I'm not going to shut it down that way. How I'm going to shut it down is by taking my rig and going home. Parking the rig at home. It's the same thing. And my dad brought up a good point. If you really want to protest these high gas prices, summer's coming up, spring is coming up, don't go on vacation. Remember what happened when the quarantine and the virus first started and everybody stayed at home? What happened? Fuel prices dropped. You could do the same thing. Getting in your car and driving across the country is only going to make these companies go, oh my God, there's thousands of people that are driving across the country. They're going to need fuel. Therefore, let's raise the fucking prices in the East and in the West, all over the country. Because now, if you don't pay those exorbitant fuel prices, you're stranded far from home. So you got to pay it. But if you just sit at home, and if the truck drivers sit at home and say, that truck is not going to leave my driveway until those fuel prices drop and stay dropped. And if the people in the cars would say, I'm not going to go on any vacations. I will only go back and forth to work and back and forth to the grocery store. The Memorial Day is coming up. And now that the mask mandates are gone, people are going to want to go. Oh my God, the beaches are going to be so full. But here's my advice. If you really want to protest this high gas prices, how about staying at home Memorial Day weekend? Don't go anywhere. Because the fuel prices will drop when they realize you're not buying the shit. When they realize that you don't have to buy it. When they realize they don't have a stranglehold on you. Because you know how to show a little bit of restraint. The fuel prices will go down. And the second they go back up, you threaten to go back home and sit. That's how you make an impact. We've done it before. By going home. Sitting at home during quarantine. Fucking gas prices were down to like $1.99 in certain areas. They've doubled since this quarantine shit lifted because you got people like this Freedom Convoy who are trekking across the country to prove how stupid they really are. And speaking of stupid, our president, for those of you who think that, oh, I'm pro-Biden and I'm pro-Democrat, guess what? I don't like either side. I don't like either one of you. Because we got a president who can't make a speech without mumbling and bumbling and sounding like he's drunk and looking like he's half asleep every other fucking word. He sounded like Ozzy Osbourne at certain points of that speech. You got the damn speech laying in front of you on paper. You got two teleprompters on either side of you that scroll that speech up and down. And you can't piece together a fucking sentence without stumbling and or mispronouncing a word and having to go back on it. I swear to God, man, we should tell people, okay, if you got to be at least, 34 or 43 years old to be a president, there should also be a cap on it that once you hit 65, no more. I think that's that sweet spot, that 20-year sweet spot. Hell, I would lower it down to 30, between 30 and 50. That little 20-year sweet spot right there. And the same goes for the Senate, the Supreme Court, the House of Representatives, any kind of governorship across this country. 30, 50. If you're not 30, you can't run. If you're hitting 50, sorry, you can't run. Because we got a president who's a fucking stumblebum. And yes, he's the governor of Iowa. I actually agree. The governor of Iowa, if you ain't seen it, after the State of the Union address, the governor of Iowa gave this brilliant rebuttal. She was well-spoken. She was well-dressed. She didn't stumble over anything. And she made a lot of sense. We got a president who's living in the past and wants to act like this in the 1960s or 40s. It's not the 40s anymore. Do they not realize that this son of a bitch Putin has the ability right now to push a button and fry us? When he has more nuclear weapons at his disposal than any other country in the world. All he's got to do is push a button and bam, bye-bye Japan. Bye-bye Alaska. Do you not realize how close Russia is to Alaska and Canada? It can happen any moment. All he has to do is push a fucking button. We're dealing with another Hitler here, only way worse. Hitler didn't have access to nuclear weapons. Can you imagine what would have happened if he did? The Holocaust would have been the tip of the fucking iceberg. But no, we're too busy worried about fucking, I don't want to impose this sanction. I don't want to impose. You need to hit him with everything you got, man. We need to go over there and get him. Hell, his own people, his own citizens are calling for him to be removed from office. Guess what? He's a dictator. You can't really remove him from office. He's there. And clearly he's got people loyal to him, or else his troops would be like, fuck you, we're not invading Ukraine. Like right now, the United States, if fucking Orange Man or Bumble Biden gets back, that's what I'm going to start calling him. Biden the Bumble. That's what he is. Bumble Biden. Because he stumble bums around speeches and fucking just looks like he's half drunk all the time. So if Bumble Biden or the Orange Man, Donald Trump, that's a good sitcom. Bumble Biden and the Orange Man, coming soon this fall. Let's say Bumble Biden and the Orange Man decide we're going to invade Canada tomorrow. Do you think our troops would just go along with it? I would hope not. I hope that even our U.S. troops, even though they're going to defy orders, would go, hey, what the fuck has Canada done to us? We're not going over there. Hey, if you want to court-martial me, but I'm not doing it. It's an immoral order. Blame Canada. If you've never seen the South Park movie, it's called South Park Bigger, Longer, Uncut. Go watch it. It's freaking hilarious. Talking about some wrestling talk now. The Undertaker going into the Hall of Fame. I'm happy about that. I'm kind of curious to see this pay-per-view from AEW on Sunday. CM Punk versus MJF is going to be a fucking Donnybrook, and they're both going to bleed buckets, and it's going to be great. Cody Rhodes coming into WWE soon, or so we think. But yeah, that's all I really want to talk about. This Freedom Convoy is helping nothing. Bumble Biden is an idiot. The Orange Man cometh again, sadly. I don't want to see him back. Hell, go look up that governor of Iowa's speech. Hell, maybe she should be the next president. She's Republican through and through, so that makes her a non-qualifier for me. Because I firmly believe we need an independent in there. Need a free thinker, someone who isn't left, someone who isn't right. Sick of both of them. You ever see the movie Man of the Year with Robin Williams? What does he sing? Tired Democratic Party now, tired of Republican Party now. Or was it he is tired of the Republican Party now, tired Democratic Party now. He's tired of both of them. He doesn't care. I'm sick of both of them too. I'm tired of Republican Party now, tired of Democratic Party now. Sick of both of them. Bunch of old ass men and women who don't have your interest at heart. Why don't you think for yourself for once, America? Grow a fucking brain and use it. Anyway, folks, if you see a big rig on the road that's doing their job like I am and keeping America moving like I am, let us over if we need to get over. If you see us turn that signal on to get over, there's a good chance we really do need to get over, and you need to let us over. Do not tailgate us. Give us plenty of room behind. Don't ride our bumper. Because if we got to slam on the brakes, you're a fucking pancake. If you can't see our mirrors, we can't see you. And we'll see you down the road.